can you repeat that once again? What is approval process?
A process, automated process of an approval, right? So if there is some approval you require for some data, you can define an automated process for that, so that you don't need to take the manual approval. The system can automatically send it to the approver, and approver can approve or reject it. Okay, based on whatever he does, whether he approves or rejects, the status on the record can be updated. All right. So
Okay.
that is all right. So the entire system will be automated in a way. Right.
Okay. System only will take care of that.
Yes, I mean approval or rejection, approver will have to do, but it will all be done within the system itself, right?
Okay.
So you don't have to look into the status of the record and do it, update the record manually and all that stuff. That we don't need to do.
Okay.
So we'll create a very simple approval process here. Let's create an approval process where we say that, actually, let's take a simple example. All opportunities with amount less than 5K need to be approved. Okay, so we say all opportunities with amount less than 5K need to be approved. Now this is an approval process. Okay, this is where you need to design an approval process. Okay. So for an approval process, there are a few things that you have to define. First, you'll have to decide on which object are you going to put the approval process on, right? Second is who will be the approver. Third is what is the criteria for the records which need approval, right? And then the actions, what action should happen. Okay, so action happens at different stages because an approval process goes through different stages. First stage is submission for approval. So first stage is when the record is submitted for approval. Second stage can be approval or rejection or recall. Okay, so these are the different stages. So you have to define action at each of these stages. So basically what you are doing is you are defining what happens if the record is submitted for approval, what happens if the record is approved, what happens if the record is rejected, what happens if the record is recalled, right? So you have to define action for each of these stages. Got it? So this is the automation part. You define which object, what is the criteria, who is the approver, and what happens if the record gets approved, what happens if it gets rejected, what happens if it gets recalled. Recalled is basically if someone who has submitted a record for approval wants to call it back. Okay, let's say you applied for a leave and you just want to call it, recall it. Okay, so you don't want the approver to approve or reject it anymore, submitted by mistake or something, and you want to recall it. Okay. So that is the what we have to do. So just keep these four things in mind, right? Object, approver, criteria, action. These are the four things that you have to define, and your approval process is ready, right? So how are we going to do that? Let's just quickly look into that. It's okay. So in this scenario, the one that I'm talking about, in this scenario, what will be the object? You guys will need to tell me. I want to set up an approval process, and this is the requirement. This is my approval process requirement. Now what will be the object here?
Amount.
Sorry? Amount is an object or key?
Opportunity.
Okay, opportunity, very good. What will be the criteria?
Less than 5K. Amount less than 5K.
Absolutely correct. Okay. Who will be the approver?
You, sir.
It has to be line manager.
That you can decide. It can be line manager, it can be a user, it can be a certain role. So that is something which we can decide. Okay. So in this case, let's say a certain user. Okay. So approver is going to be a certain user, XYZ user. All right. Okay. Now action is where we have to define what action do we want to perform. Okay. So in this case, what I want to do is I want to have an approval status field on opportunity. Okay. And I want that field to get updated based on the status of the approval. If it is submitted for approval, it should say pending. Status of the field should change like this. Okay.
So it should be both approval as well as submission.
When it's submitted for approval, the field should get updated to pending. If it is approval is done, it should get updated to approved. Okay. If it is rejected, the field should get updated to rejected. If it is recalled, the field should get updated to recalled.
What is recall, Jay?
Recall is if someone has submitted a certain record for approval, withdraw. Right. So now you submitted it and then you withdraw it, or you do not want to the approval process to be carried forward. You just want to recall it.
Undo. Like undo.
Yeah. Recall is something that we do a lot of times with our emails. Have you done an email recall? Send the email and call it back. So that sort of thing. All right. So we are going to create this approval process. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I want one of you to create the approval process on your screen, and I want everyone to follow this. Fine. So because there are quite a few things which need to be done. So I just want you guys to do it. So who is going to be the volunteer who will share the screen and others are going to follow? Who is pretty confident, can do things properly? One volunteer, anyone? Come on, why are you guys so scared? I will be guiding you.
I'll
Okay.
Yeah, I've logged in from phone. I can't do it, sir.
Okay, no worries.
I'll try, Jit.
So you don't have to try, you have to do it. Okay. So I want everyone to log in into your Salesforce developer accounts. All right. It's a very simple approval process that we are going to design for opportunity, right? So first of all, log in into your developer orgs, everyone. So because this approval process is a little lengthier than other things that we have done so far, so I just want you to do it hands-on and understand this. So it would be good if you guys log in into your developer accounts. Okay. Anyone who is not able to do that, it's okay. You can try it later also. Like I think Nikhil is logged in from phone, so no problem. But if you have desktop or laptop, please log in into your developer account. Great. Now open a notepad and write what all we have to do. So whatever I just wrote on my notepad, I just want you guys to open a notepad and write it. Okay. So an approval process, because it's not as easy as creating a field or something. So basically what we do is whenever you design an approval process, you need to make a few points also. Like before we start creating a data model, we start putting things, what all fields we need to create, data types and all that stuff. So same way, just create a notepad and make your points. So the approval process is all about any opportunity with an amount less than 5,000 needs an approval. Okay, so that is the approval which we are going to do. So just make those small points. Object equals opportunity. Yeah. Criteria. Okay, approver. Any user, XYZ user. Okay. Criteria, amount less than 5,000. Right, so whenever you have an approval request from your client, you will try and break that into these small steps. All right. action, field update. So action will be field update, and the submission for approval and all these are going to be different stages. Yeah, so action, the submission for approval is one part of the action. So bring it down. Yeah. So submission for approval, the field should get updated to approved. Approval step, field should get updated to approved. Sorry, submission should make it pending. Approval should make it approved. Rejection should make it rejected. Yes. Okay, I want everyone to follow the steps. I mean, try to make your own approval steps, in your own words, so that you understand the process. Okay. Designing it on Salesforce is going to be a 5 minutes matter of 5 minutes, but understanding the concept is very important. That is the reason why I'm asking you to write it all so that you understand it. So how to compose an approval process and design it. All right. Done. Now my point is that because we want to update this field, first of all, before I start creating this approval process, I need this field in opportunity. This field already is not existing, so there is no approval status field at this point of time, right? So first thing what we have to do, we'll have to go ahead and create a field on opportunity, correct? With the following options. So what should be the type of that field? I need to create a field on opportunity with the following option. So what should be the type of that field? Data type?
Multi-pick list.
Why multi-pick list? Why not pick list only?
Pick list.
Pick list, right? Correct. So let's go ahead and create that field. So let's go to setup, customize, fields.
For opportunity. I'm going to customize.
Customize opportunities fields. Yeah.
Opportunities fields.
Fields.
I'll go to new. I'll select pick list and say next. What should I give it?
Call it approval status. And the option should be pending, approved, rejected. And one more is recalled. Right. So these are the options, right? And also make it a read-only field. So once you go to the next step, just make it a read-only field. Because we don't want any user to manually change the value of this, right? So this should be completely controlled by the approval process. So just make it read-only, visible and read-only both. Yeah.
Okay, both.
Yeah. So this becomes a read-only field, all right? So that the end user is not able to manipulate the approval status. Okay. So it's a read-only thing. It's only controlled by the approval process. So just go next and save it. That's it. So are we all done with this creating of the field? Anyone who is having a difficulty at this stage, please let me know. Anyone who is stuck here? No one? Okay. So let's go ahead and now start defining the approval process. So whatever was the prerequisite for that approval process, we have already done that. Okay, we have set up our org in that manner so that we can start designing our approval process. Anyone who is still stuck here, please quickly let me know. Else we are getting into designing the approval process. Okay, seems everyone is on the same page. We are good. So we can just go ahead and start. Sorry, what was that?
For approval, there are 4 options, right?
Pending, approved, rejected, recalled.
Pending.
Pending, approved, rejected, recalled. Please finish that quickly.
Done.
Done. All right. So now let's go ahead and create the approval process. So for creating the approval process, we'll again go to setup. We just need to go to setup. Create approval process, workflows and approvals, and then go to approval process. Setup, create workflows and approvals, and then click on approval process. Right. So what is the first thing that it's asking us to select? Manage approval process for. Click on that drop down.
Which one? Ji?
Manage approval process for. You see that drop down? None. Yeah. So here what is that we will have to select? Step 1.
Opportunity.
Yes. So here we have to select the object. So our object is opportunity. We are defining the approval process for opportunity. So we should select opportunity. Now just go to create new approval process. Drop down, click on that and select Jumpstart Wizard, the first one. Okay.
Use jump.
Jumpstart Wizard, use Jumpstart Wizard, the first one. All right.
Okay.
Okay, so everyone should be on this screen by now. This is the screen where we actually start defining our approval process. Okay. So just give it a name and a unique name. More like a label and name, so you just name it anything, approval 1 or something, whatever you want. Right. So just put a name and a unique name. Define the criteria. Come to the specify entry criteria. So what is the criteria that we talked about? Amount less than 5,000, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's just go ahead and define the criteria.
You can just repeat.
Where are you?
Create.
Tell me.
After click on setup, create, and then approval process.
Workflow and approval process. Yeah. So just select the object from that drop down. That should be opportunity, and then click on create new approval process, and then go to this thing. Jumpstart Wizard. Use Jumpstart Wizard. Alright, done? Okay. So you should be on this screen. You should have defined a name, a unique name, and then you should have defined the criteria also. Sorry?
I'm not able to get on this screen, approval process screen.
Okay, Ravali, can you just repeat this right from the beginning? So just go to setup, create, yeah. Just go to
Setup.
Create, yeah. Just navigation part.
Then we are going to create. We are going to workflow and approvals. We are going to approval processes. Here we have gone to manage approval processes for opportunity objects.
Okay.
We have gone to create new approval process. Here we are going to the first option, use jumpstart wizard.
Okay. Got it. Got it.
Here
Thank
we
you.
are giving a new name called opportunity approval process. We are going to specify entry criteria, field as opportunity amount, operator as less than, value as 5000 because this is our criteria.
Fine, so two things we have already defined here. Out of four things that we talked on the screen in the notepad, the object and the criteria. Okay. Now, below that you just come and you see that there is an option of selecting the approver. Who will be the approver? Who is the guy who is going to approve? Okay. So just there are several options. If you see, first option talks about let the submitter choose the approver manually. So sometimes it may happen that you want the person who is submitting the record for approval, he has the liberty to choose the approval. Okay. So you can give that. In that case, you don't have to specify any approval. While someone is actually submitting the record for approval, he will have the option of choosing who is going to be the approver. Okay. Second is automatically assign based on a hierarchy. So you can automatically send the approval request to the manager of the submitter. Third option is automatically assign to a certain approver. So that is what we are going to do. So you can select a user, just select this thing, click on the lookup icon and select any user. So you can have these three options, right? Either the submitter chooses the approver or it directly goes to the manager of the submitter. Okay. So since we do not have the manager defined for the approver here, we are just selecting a certain user. Okay. Sometimes it happens that all those approval requests go to a particular user. All right. Let's say your finance manager approves all the billing and expenses. All right. So all those requests will be directed to him. So irrespective of if he is my manager or not, but expenses will be approved by him only. So in that case, you will require the third one. All right. So just select that user. So we have selected one user here. You will select yourself as that user so that it comes to you. Then go ahead and click on save.
What is this, Jeet? Approve or reject? Require?
Yeah, so if you have multiple users, okay, if you have multiple approvers basically, okay, so then you have two options. Whether it require unanimous approval from all selected approvers or it can be approved or rejected. Let's say there is an approval request which is sent to Nikhil and Ravi Teja. Okay. So I can have two scenarios. One scenario can be if either one of them approves, it should be considered as approved. Okay, it's sent to two people, but one of them can approve. Okay, any one of them approves. Firstly, whoever has approved, it will be considered as approved. Second scenario can be both of them need to approve. All right. So whenever you are sending it to multiple people, you will have two options. Either you just want to consider approval from one of them or both of them. So require unanimous approval from all selected approvers means everyone needs to approve, and approve or reject based on the first response means anyone who approves or rejects first, that will be the final thing. All right. So that is the thing. So just click on save here. We just have one approver. All right. So I think everyone is clear with this step, this screen. So it's pretty simple. I mean, see, we are not doing anything. If you try and understand this process without that 4 lines on your notepad, it will become a difficult thing for you, right? Here you don't have to worry about anything. You just have to decide on the object, decide on the approver, put the criteria. That's it. Nothing else needs to be done here. Okay. Remember, you will not be able to use approval process until it has been activated. So just say OK and proceed. Okay. Now Everyone is here on the screen? Alright.
Yes.
So now the next thing that we have to do is just click on the view approval process detail page. This is where we have to define the action. So there is only one thing that we are left with, that is defining the action, right? Rest everything we have done, right, by now. Ravali, can you please take us back to the notepad? So out of 4 steps that we talked about, 3 steps we have already done. We have defined the criteria, object, approver. Action needs to be defined. Okay, and this page, the one that has got opened just now, is the action page. Okay. All right. So now you see there are actions to be defined. As I told you, you have to define action for every stage: submission, approval, rejection. So there is a stage which is called initial submission action. Okay. So just go to that and say add new action in the under initial submission action. Go ahead and click on add new. What type of action we want to perform? Ours is a field update.
Field up.
Yeah, so just go ahead and select field update. Okay, just give a name to this action. It can be action 1 or whatever. Just call it action 1.
Yeah.
So this is the name that we are depending for the action. So just say action 1. I'll just give a small name because we have to give a lot of these names. So just call it action 1. Which field do we want to update? Select that field. Which field needs to be updated?
Amount.
No. Which field should be updated? Approval status. That is the field that we created and we want that field to be updated, right? So approval status. Great. Select that. Okay. Now you see what value should it get updated to. So scroll down and select a specific value from the pick list. It's a pick list, right? So select the value. So what value should become?
Pending.
Pending. Yeah, because this is submission action. So on submission, approval status should become pending. That's it. So one action we have defined. Okay. So anytime the record is submitted for approval, this action will happen and it will go and update the field to pending. Okay. So we have done this. Same thing we have to repeat for approval, rejection and recall. So just scroll down. Just scroll down. Final approval action is what we have to get into. So add new action under final approval actions. So under final approval, the field should get updated to approved. So the same thing, add new field update. Add new field update. Okay. Then make it a specific value. It should be approved this time. Right. Save it. The same way for rejection and recall. I hope everyone is able to follow. So we have defined action for each of the stages, right? Submission, what should happen; at the approval stage, what should happen; at the rejection stage, what should happen; and on recall, what should happen. Everyone is done with these actions defined. Anyone who is still stuck on some stage, please let me know. So if we are done with these this much, our approval process is complete. I told you about 4 things. You have already done 4 things. Last and the final thing that we have to do before we can start using this approval process. What is that? Before you start using it, what is that we have to do? Activate the approval process. So just scroll up and click on activate. Okay, so after activating approval process, you cannot add or remove approval steps and all that stuff. Okay, no problem. Let's activate it. Okay, you also have an option of viewing the diagram. So you can just click on that view diagram part and quickly have a look at the diagram. How does it look and stuff.
Oh, this is a human.
Sorry, what is it? Flowchart.
UML. Yeah, flowchart.
Yeah. So, it gives you a clear understanding of exactly how your approval process is going to work and how will it look and stuff. Okay. So everyone is okay on this. Just close the diagram. Now let's go back to the approval process which has been activated. We'll test the approval process. Okay. So now how would we test the approval process? To test the approval process, what is that we have to do?
Go to opportunity.
Go to opportunity, create an opportunity and make sure that you put an amount which is less than 5,000. Alright. So let's just go to opportunities and create a new record in opportunities and put an amount which is less than 5,000.
Where?
No, go to opportunities. How do you go to opportunity? Firstly, go to the sales app. We have to create a record. Now we are not creating fields, right?
Hey. Sales app, opportunities tab, right?
Yes. New opportunity. So just give it a name, whatever name you want to give, put a close date stage and put an amount which is less than 5,000. Maybe put 3,500 or 4,000. Don't put 5,000.
Stage as what?
Whatever, I mean, that doesn't matter. So it can be anything. Because we do not have, we have not put a criteria on the stage, right? We have just put a criteria on this thing.
That's all, right?
Put a close date. There are 2 mandatory required fields here, na? Close date and stage. Stage you have put, close date needs to be put anything, yeah, save it. Okay, so we have created the record, right? Now as we have seen that there is an action that has to happen, go and check what is the approval status now on this record. On this record itself, there should be a field called approval status. It's there, but it's blank right now, right?
Yeah.
Why? Because it has not yet been submitted for approval. Okay. So first thing what we have to do, we'll have to submit it for the approval. So if you are the end user, you have created the record, now you know that this record needs approval, you'll have to submit it for approval. Okay. How do you submit it for approval? Everyone is on this stage. Everyone on this page. The record created, we can see the record. Now this record needs to be submitted for approval. Okay. So the record that you create does not automatically go for approval. We manually need to go and click on the submit for approval button. For that, just scroll down. Yeah.
But while in that approval states, we have given that option, right? User, probably.
So it will go to that user for approval, but before that you have to submit it for approval. No, automatically it will not go. You will have to submit it for approval, then it will automatically go to the defined approval. Okay.
To that defined user.
Yes.
Okay.
So just scroll down, go to the end of this page. There is a submit for approval button. Just click on that. Okay. Now this record has been submitted for approval. Now if you see, the approval status has automatically got updated to pending. It has become pending now.
Yeah.
If you scroll down, go to the last end of this page, you will see approval history also. So there it will show you this record as pending. Okay. So whatever happens on the approval process, that will get updated there. So currently it has been submitted and the status is pending. Okay, that is what it shows. Overall status is pending. Okay.
Okay.
So now this ideally should be sent to the defined user for approval, right? Now who is the user who has to approve? Here you yourself are the user, right, to approve. So just go and open your email, check your email. You must have received, check your email. So you must have received an approval request on your email. Okay, so just go to the registered email ID and check it. You must have received the approval request on that.
Yeah.
Okay. So we got this thing. There's an approval request that you have received. Okay. So the approver will ideally, whenever there is a record which is submitted for approval, the approver will receive a request. All right. Now, the approver can either click on this link to approve or reject the request, or the approver can go to his home page to approve or reject. See, if you click on this link, if you are the approver, you will have an option to write a comment and then maybe approve or reject, right? So just say, write something and say reject. Let us just write something here and say reject. Rejecting. Yeah. See, the status got updated automatically to rejected this time, right? Now, as an end user, you can resubmit it for approval. Okay, if you feel that okay, fine, the rejection was not okay and you want to resubmit it, you can again scroll down. The end user also has an option to go down and resubmit it for approval. Okay, so let's go scroll down, click on submit for approval again. That again becomes pending. Alright. Again, the end user will have that email available or even email sent to. Just click on OK. Yeah, submitted for approval. You'll receive one more approval request. This time you approve it. Okay, so the status automatically becomes approved. So one is the ultimate, the final status of the approval process, which I am updating through the field approval status. Other thing is the approval history, which comes at the end of this page, right? That approval history tells you what has happened with that record. So if you scroll down, you will see that, okay, fine, the record was submitted on this date, then it was rejected, and then it was approved. The entire stuff you can figure out. Got that? So that is how this thing works. Please tell me if you have any questions or doubts here.
Now again, if after getting approved, if we submit on submit approval, nothing happens, right?
Click on this. Again goes into pending stage.
Okay.
So it may happen that you have got something approved, but you just want to get it approved once again. You have made certain changes and all. You can again submit it for approval.
Now I'll click on recall approval request then.
No, recall it. That recall action will happen here. Just put a reason and recall. Just put a comment and recall.
Wow.
Fine. So now what happens is this entire process of approval gets automated. Your steps of the approval are tracked and put in the approval history. Status can be updated automatically. So entire thing can be done. All right.
Okay. The recent submit for approval which we have done after submission from pending is going to recalled.
Right. The last one appears at the top. All right. Everyone okay on this? Please let me know if anyone has a question or doubt on this. Okay, so it's simple. Basically, approval process is a very simple thing. First thing that you need to do the moment you have an approval process to set up, first thing, just to remember those 4 steps. The moment you have been able to define those 4 steps, you can define the most complex approval requests or approval processes in the world. Okay, you just have to break it into which object, who is the approver, what criteria and what action. That's it. Then you are just there. Yeah.
But what I thought was after giving those criteria, action, user, everything, once we go to opportunity and create an opportunity with specified amount, because we have already given the criteria as less than 5K, then approve or something, automatically approve or something. I thought once you enter the amount, it will decide to approve or.
Right. So basically what happens is it does not work on that logic, and the reason is that anything which has to be sent for approval for those things, Salesforce wants to make sure that the end user is manually going and submitting the record for approval, because sometimes it may happen that you have just entered a record. For example, you have just entered a draft record and you're not very sure whether it needs to that's the final amount or not. Okay.
Okay.
So at that time, if it is automatically sent for an approval, usually we expect the person who is approving to be someone who will have a lot of approval requests already coming in. So we don't want to send him spam requests or the ones which are not actually required, and then the end user
Okay.
recalling it. So instead of that, because when we look into that practical approval process, a lot of times you will be entering the draft data, and you
Okay.
just don't want to send that for approval at that point of time. You just want to maybe make a few corrections in that and then submit it for approval. That is the reason why this submit for approval button is there, right? Anyone else, any other questions?
Uh, Hello.
Hello. Yeah.
Yeah. Hi, sir. I have some questions on my project, and that's the doctor clinic application. So
Mm-hmm.
please can you clarify that? So, in custom, so how many custom tabs can be created
How many custom tabs can be created?
in a
uh,
developer edition?
Developer edition, I exactly don't know the number, but ideally how many you are trying to create. 8 or 10 you should not be a problem. Are you trying to create more than that?
Yeah. I have created nearly 4, but it's saying that we can create maximum of 5 tabs. But I'm able to use only 4 tabs, custom tabs. So what happened is I have changed my entire data model
Mm-hmm.
to another standard objects through standard objects. But what happened is in the workflow section I can't use what price books and users as a workflows.
Mm-hmm.
Why can't we make this one?
I'm sorry, what is that you are not able to do that?
In workflows we can't select the object like price books and users, sir.
Mm-hmm.
And we can use all the remaining objects, standard objects and custom objects, but we can't use price books and users.
Price book you are not able to use, and the user is something that you are not able to use on the workflow rule, right?
Yes.
Okay. So I just have to reconfirm that. I have actually not in recent past I have not tried creating any workflow on any of these things. So I'll just quickly
Okay.
check that and I'll get back to you on that. Okay.
Yeah,
Jeet,
sure.
Mm-hmm.
even I have so many doubts while doing that training app. I didn't find time to ask you. I mean, because the classes are going on, I didn't want to disturb.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, if possible, after finishing all the sessions or someday, can you create this app for us so that we will go stepwise and maybe we have doubts will come up.
See, again, basically the point is that even if we create that app completely, I mean, if I sit and create that app, that is not going to clear too many of your doubts, okay? Best part is that you guys sit together and work on these apps, practice is the only thing that is going to help you. Again, see, I've already created almost the entire app in the session, and again, if I create it, that is again going to be my practice, okay? So from my practice, you guys are not going to learn. So I would suggest that if you guys want to collaborate maybe after this session, I can provide you guys with a certain meeting ID or something which you guys can use, and then design that app. So most of your doubts will be cleared by your own discussions.
Yeah,
What needs to be
actually,
designed, what does.
actually, I feel we all understood it. While doing it, we are just getting stuck in one place or the other, and we are unable to, we are having some conflict with our own thoughts.
Yeah, so I
And
think once you start doing it and start working on it as maybe as a team, your concepts will become a lot more clearer, right?
oh,
So I mean,
okay,
I don't feel that you guys will have a major issue somewhere, right? You understand what is an object, you understand what's a field and all. You might be
yeah,
getting stuck at very small issues, right?
right, right,
So
right.
I do understand that, but so that is something which can only be helped with how much you create things and all, right? So I
Yeah,
am pretty sure if you guys try to collaborate and design an app, take any example, design an app, look into the other guy's app and see how that person is doing, or maybe ask, okay, hey, what do you think, what field type it should be, right? That will give you more practice, I guess. So if you guys feel that you have some time available where you guys want to collaborate and uh, come on a certain meeting and work with others, I think that should be a good idea. So anyone who feels that they are ready to do that, you can just drop me an email regarding that, and I can arrange for the meeting part and everything. All right.
Yeah. Okay, Chick. Thank you.
All right.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, sir. I have one more question.
Yeah, please.
Two
go
more
ahead.
questions. Sir.
Yeah.
Okay. Sir, can we? Yeah. Suppose I would like to explain this example, right? Scenario like that. Suppose we have two objects, okay, and in the one I have two objects like diseases and operations. So in the diseases I have one field like type of operation, okay, and I have created like that as a child for an operation. Okay, that field type of operation is a field like an child for that parent class, parent object is operation. Okay, so by clicking on that type of another field above the type of operation is that operation required yes or no, is a checkbox. Okay, so after clicking that checking that yes checkbox button, the child class must the child class have to unhide the field. Do we have that option, sir?
We have that option, but that is a little advanced. I mean, for that you will need a bit of programming aid. If you just want to hide a field or display a field based on some other logic, yeah. So that will require
Yes.
programming stuff, yeah.
Programming stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
See?
Mm-hmm.
Always, are you able to see my screen now?
Yeah.
Always when I'm creating a new app, I don't know where I'm making a mistake. These new tabs which I'm creating in the other apps are seen in almost all apps.
So when you create the app, you select all the tabs there. Should not do that. But these are not new tabs. You have renamed your basic tabs. The training program you have renamed campaign as training program. Remember that?
Yeah. Okay.
These are not new tabs actually.
So if I want to change the existing ones into my own names, but only confined to that particular custom app and not to other apps, what?
No, it does not happen that way. So if you are renaming a tab name, it will get renamed on all the apps as the same thing. Either it will be campaign on all the apps or it will be training program on all the apps. You cannot give it two different names on two different apps.
Okay. Okay, sir. Thank you.
All right.
Yeah, hi sir. I have one more question.
Yeah, please tell me.
Yeah, I'm sorry about this one because I'm meeting all of not time.
Yeah.
Okay,
Good.
sir. Yeah, in the disease object, sir, I have one field type of disease. Okay, type of disease I have created as a pick list, like 4 diseases. Okay, like water effects, like food effect or animal
4
contact.
options.
Like that.
Okay. A, B, C, D.
Yeah, 4 options. Yeah. Okay. After clicking that pick list option, like a animal contact. Okay. Can I get the another option like all the what diseases particular to the criteria?
Yeah.
Can
So
I have
that
that
will be a
option?
dependent pick list. Yeah, that can be done.
Dependent pick list.
Dependent pick list. Yeah, that can be done. Field dependency.
Okay.
Fine. So that thing can be done.
And don't we have any sub pick list like that?
So that's more like a sub-pick list only. I mean, you will have a disease and whatever. So you just create both the fields, and then you have to make a field dependency between those two fields.
Okay.
Fine. So first of all, you create those two fields, and then you just have to define a field dependency within those two things. Okay.
Okay.
Fine. So
Yeah,
maybe tomorrow we will have some time for discussing project related stuff. So I think maybe we can bring in all these things and we can discuss a little about this in tomorrow's session.
Yes.
Right?
Okay.
Okay. I'll see you all
Thank you.
tomorrow. Same time, same meeting link. Thank you all. Bye.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.